today. Ted, welcome to Open Season.
Thanks much, Larry. Appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get to work here in just a couple of seconds. Lots to talk about this week. But I thought really the biggest news, Ted, was made in Washington when the NFL's senior vice president for health, a guy by the name of Jeff Miller, admitted that there's a link between football and the degenerative brain disease known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, the way it's called. Miller made the admission during a roundtable discussion on concussions that was held on Monday in Washington, D.C. I don't know about you, Ted, but I could feel the reverberations all the way out here in California because for the first time ever, somebody with the NFL is admitting that there is a link between the trauma of getting hit in football and degenerative brain diseases.
Well, it's obvious they've known something for a long time. Now, this is still evolving as far as the medical side of things and what they know, but and no question the NFL has known enough about this to do whatever they've done. But remember, they've been going through a lawsuit for quite a while now, and they have to be very careful what they say, what they don't say, and maybe they're further along than we realize with this lawsuit, but I think that has something to do with it. Otherwise, maybe it also helps their lawsuit to finally admit it. I don't know.
I don't know. I would imagine that it's going to create even more lawsuits, Ted. And you got to believe that this guy, Jeff Miller, had been coached before he went in as the kind of questions that he was going to get. And I think he surprised some people in Washington and may have surprised some people in the NFL with his answers as well. I don't know. I don't know if they were ready for this.
Well, I don't know anything about this guy specifically, but he was either coached or coached poorly. Who knows? I could say this, though, that usually there's an attorney involved somewhere. So whether he was on this guy's side or the league's just behind even Goodell all the way to the top, they have to be careful with what they say. This doesn't sound careful, but again, if he said it, unless he made a mistake, there must be a positive to come out of it for the league.
Well, we'll have to see how that plays out because, truthfully, if the league is admitting that there's a link between getting popped in the helmet a bunch of times and having brain disease, I think it's got the potential to change the game completely from the way we know it right now, Ted.
Well, I don't totally agree with you because I think that they've already changed it as much as they're going to. You know, this new helmet that is continually evolving, and it's able to take more impact on a regular basis. This has been going on for a while. I had a really good chat with Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago about this when he suffered a really bad concussion and came back with a new helmet, that new really sleek-sided one, and he's very happy with it. And I think the league in general has admitted that there's issues with concussions. They just haven't gone as far as they have lately. My biggest problem is down the road, the next two generations, are parents going to want their kids to play the game? Outside of that, I think the league is evolving pretty well with the rules and with the new helmets.
Well, I think there's already an outcry from parents across the country with the kids in Pop Warner and high school and everything else. And they're taking second thoughts about whether or not they want their kids to play. And when the NFL comes out and admits that there's a link between getting knocked in the noggin and possibly having brain damage, I think it could change the sport from the ground up. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. In keeping with that, the Packers defensive tackle B.J. Raji says he's retiring or he's taking a year off. Ted, I'm thinking we've seen a bunch of guys recently who decide to take a year off or retire early, and I'm wondering if it's got something to do with this CTE thing.
I tend to doubt it because as far as I know, there's been no concussion issues with B.J. Raji that were serious in the last few years. He had 1 year he missed with a shoulder problem. He had surgery, missed the entire season, and then came back last year, played okay. Look, I don't think B.J. Raji is that big of a deal. He's really only a run stopper for them anyway. He's gonna hurt the fact that because they don't have a lot of depth at that specific position. But I just don't think that's a major deal. I don't believe it is related to concussions.
But I think guys are thinking long term now, maybe a little more than short term, and the wear and tear on the body, and the wear and tear on the brain is got to take its toll. There's no question.
Yeah, but let's also not forget, Larry, that they're making enough money now that they can live for another couple hundred years off of this. So.
Yeah, but in what quality of life? That's the question. Let's
go
back.
Even if they retire early, like B.J. Raji, I think he's played 8 years now. I want to say 7 or 8 years. That's a lot of money if he hasn't thrown it away.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but that money's no good if you're sitting in a hospital room and they're doing CAT scans on you every day. Back to the field, the Broncos traded for quarterback Mark Sanchez, the guy at a USC. So they've got a quarterback in camp now, but do they have a real quarterback in camp? I can't think of anybody.
They have a real quarterback. They just don't have a real first-string quarterback.
Yeah, they've got a good backup quarterback. What are they going to do?
Very good question. I don't know. I mean, there's guys out there that are still available, but it depends what Elway wants to do and how is this something where you have to go back to the drawing board and get somebody late in the first round or late in the second round who might be available and hope he works out, but probably not going to be ready for the first year. It looks to me like this is just a transition year for a championship team that still has a great defense. They don't have to have the best quarterback in the world. Let's face it, Peyton Manning wasn't even a top 12 quarterback going into the playoffs this year, and they still won. So the defense is what carried them. If they could just get somebody that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, I don't know if that's Mark Sanchez, although he has been very, very efficient in the postseason.
Yeah, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great fit for that spot in Denver, but apparently he wants too much money, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Before we head to the break, Ted, the Patriots at it again. They're taking a guy who's at or near the top of his game in Chandler Jones. They trade him to Arizona. Then they go out and they sign Chris Long to help him out there. And then they trade with Chicago, and they trade a draft pick to get tight end Martellus Bennett. So now they've got the two-headed tight end thing with Gronkowski going. And they've dumped some salary along the way, but there's something about Bill Belichick. He makes moves, and you say, why is he doing that? He just seems to know when to get rid of guys before their expiration date.
I actually don't fully agree with that statement. I think everything he's done so far, I agree with as far as what his philosophy is get rid of a guy before it's too late.
Oh, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm totally on line with you on that for sure. But it just seems he seems to know when other GMs and other guys in control seem to hang on to a player maybe too long, and he just seems to know when to get rid of him.
Yeah, no, he's a genius in that department, and look, he's one of the great head coaches of all time, and he's become almost as good as far as the front office is concerned in his decision making.
You got it. That is the voice of Ted Sobel. We're so pleased to have him on Open Season today. Coming up later on this show, Darrell Waltrip will join Open Season to talk NASCAR. And up next, former NBA star, he's now the current head coach at Cal State Northridge, Reggie Theus steps in to break down the brackets and the NCAA buckets. You're tuned in to Open Season. Stay with us.
Ever wonder how celebrities get their skin red carpet ready? Look no further than the Fire and Ice Facial from Is Clinical, available at Nina MD Beverly Hills. The Fire and Ice Facial is an amazing clinical treatment designed to rapidly and safely regenerate the skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles for an envious glow, while smoothing and softening to achieve that ageless face. Excellent for all skin types and ages, Is Clinical's Fire and Ice Facial is a celebrity favorite and provides dramatic results with no downtime, peeling, or side effects. The Fire and Ice Facial is normally $215, but call 310-777-7511 now. Mention this ad and pay only $179. That's over $35 in savings just by mentioning this ad. Don't miss out on glowing and radiant skin from Is Clinical and Nina MD Beverly Hills. For more info, visit ninamd.com or call 310-777-7511. That's 310-777-7511. Ever wonder how celebrities get their skin red carpet ready? Look no further than the Fire and Ice Facial from Is Clinical, available at Nina MD Beverly Hills. The Fire and Ice Facial is an amazing clinical treatment designed to rapidly and safely regenerate the skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles for an envious glow, while smoothing and softening to achieve that ageless face. Excellent for all skin types and ages, Is Clinical's Fire and Ice Facial is a celebrity favorite and provides dramatic results with no downtime, peeling, or side effects. The Fire and Ice Facial facial is normally $215, but call 310-777-7511 now. Mention this ad and pay only $179. That's over $35 in savings just by mentioning this ad. Don't miss out on glowing and radiant skin from Is Clinical and Nina MD Beverly Hills. For more info, visit ninamd.com or call 310-777-7511. That's 310-777-7511.
9MD Beverly Hills provides skincare solutions for patients undergoing cancer treatments. Personalized treatment regimens are initiated to achieve optimum remission states in those dealing with cancer. The Is Clinical Harmony Cancer Care Facial at 9MD Beverly Hills safely offers hope and relief for those challenged with the side effects and repercussions of intense cancer treatments such as radiation and chemotherapy. Rejuvenate, replenish, and soothe your skin. Let our certified technicians at 9MD Beverly Hills safely and effectively heal your skin with our Is Clinical products that are pharmaceutical grade, botanically based, paraben free, and do not enter the bloodstream. Enjoy a day of pampering and revitalize your skin with 9MD Beverly Hills and our Is Clinical Harmony Cancer Care Facial for just $179. Each patient will receive a complimentary gift bag for take-home care. For more information, please call 310-777-7511 or visit us at www.ninamd.com. That's www.ninamd.com.
And a happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Welcome back to Open Season. Larry Burnett and Ted Sobel manning the microphones today, and we are happy to hook up right now with Reggie Theus. He's the head coach at Cal State Northridge, former NBA star, former colleague of mine. Reg, thanks for coming on to talk some hoops with us.
Larry, anything for you, man. You know that. Heck, you carried me for how many years? I got to come back and put some time in with you. Come on.
I appreciate that. Before we get into the NCAA tournament, talk to me about your Matadors.
You know, it's been a tough rebuild. I took over a team that hadn't been to the conference tournament in 3 or 4 years, and we had a couple of issues there. I played my first 3 years with 7 and 8 players. So, but at the same time, we were competitive. You know, we've got some good kids coming in. Next year will be my first full roster, and we're really, really optimistic about the future.
Cal State Northridge, the Matadors. Let's talk a little bit NCAA tournament. And first of all, Reg, your experience with UNLV. I know you guys went to the Final Four in Atlanta and lost in the semifinals. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, I've been so fortunate with the Final Four. As a player in 1977, going to Atlanta, playing against Dean Smith and the Four Corners, it was an exciting Final Four. Let's see, who won it that year? It was Milwaukee. God, I can't think of it. Who was on the team anyway? But I can't think. Hey, listen, senility. What can I tell you?
I understand. Believe me.
But it was such a great Final Four. Jerry Tarkanian going against Dean Smith, and we scored 100 points a game. The jumpers stopped falling for us, and they ended up beating us by 1. The experience of the Final Four is very different from any other type of championship because it's a tournament. It's not like a 7-game series or a short series, but it's a tournament between 4 teams,
right.
And anything can happen. And a lot of times, the best team does not win. So, and I had the other opportunity to go there as an assistant coach with Rick Pitino, and I watched him take a 6'8" center in Ellis Miles and send that into a Final Four team, and that was just a great experience. There's nothing like going to the college Final Four. It's just unbelievable.
Reggie, everybody talks about the brackets and who should be in and who shouldn't be in. Quite frankly, I'm tired of that kind of stuff. It's already started now. We saw Yale knock off Baylor earlier today. Kansas won easily. Duke got a threat, but they won their game. UConn came back and won their game. My question to you is, you're a college basketball coach. Who's the best team in the NCAA tournament this year?
You know what, Larry, that's a tough question because I don't think anybody can put their fingers on exactly who is the best team. I don't think there is a dominant team. I like I like Michigan State. I like Michigan State, but Michigan State is always a threat when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I don't think anyone can walk away from them. Obviously, Kentucky's got loads of talent, but, they're missing some things this year. So it's really difficult to say. North Carolina's been playing really well, so, it's really difficult to say. I don't think there is a dominant team. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that, too.
I feel the same way. You could pick probably 6 or 8 teams that have a legitimate shot. But let's bring Ted Sobel in and see what he has to say, and I'm sure he's got a question for you as well. Ted?
Also, Larry, I don't mean to cut you off, but, just like the NBA, a lot of times it's who's playing the best basketball down the stretch of the season. Like, not about what they did during the season, but who's playing the best basketball right now. Yeah. That's the team that you have to really pay attention to.
You got it. Ted, jump in.
Hey, Reggie, first of all, enjoyed your work throughout the years from the court and out of the sidelines. And I was running through some old tapes a couple of nights ago. I should have taken it out and played it for you. I interviewed you when you were with the Kansas City Omaha Kings playing the Lakers in the playoffs. Wow. I think it was 1984.
Wow.
And you were talking about how much fun it was to come back to L.A. and play in front of your family and friends. What do you remember about those days in that series?
Well, I remember playing well against the Lakers, but never winning. Those were the days back in the Showtime era where you could play well against the Lakers, but chances were you weren't going to win. So, but coming home was always a lot of fun because I have a lot of family and friends, and I was in the East Coast a lot along part of my career. So I only got to come home once or twice, actually one time a year to really play, except for when my first couple of years when I was playing in Chicago, but yet we were in the Western Conference, and we were also traveling. We were also traveling domestic flights. So I ended up making that jump 2 or 3 times a week. So the NBA at that time, that era was so much fun, competitive, real physical, a lot more physical than it is now. Just a lot of fun to play in front of. Any place in the NBA is great to play in front of, though.
I'm curious.
Talking with Reggie Theus here on Open Season. You brought up the Lakers. Obviously, like they're a team.
Robertson and some of the guys that have been talking about Steph Curry, how he affects the game. And you're not a real old timer, but from your generation, how do you see some of that?
Well, you know what? I've been very blessed, and my career has spanned 3 generations. From basically the late 70s through the 90s, and then, of course, doing the color commentating and working in TV and stuff. So I really have had a real good dose of what all of these eras were about. And Steph Curry is by far the best shooter I've ever seen. I don't care what era you put him in. Now, could he do all that little flipping stuff and all the little behind the back and cut through the lane and all that stuff? No, because he would have been knocked down every time.
Yeah. But
in terms of making shots, in terms of being the best bad shot maker I've ever seen, he is the best. And I wouldn't have my son watch him play because he takes a lot of bad shots for the average person. But for Steph Curry, these are right in his wheelhouse, and that's the way the kid plays. I'm amazed every time I watch him how he really does shoot the ball with so much confidence, and it doesn't matter if you're hanging on his arm or if you got a hand in his face. The only difference is the game back in the day was so much more physical. When the hand checking was in, he wouldn't be able to do all the behind the back and the between the legs and all that because you'd have your
especially
hand on his waist.
Especially as a smaller guy, right?
Well, you'd have your hand on his waist and you would guide him into a pick and they'd stick an elbow in his face and then the referee would walk over there and tell him, hey, get up. Next time, get your face out of the way.
There you go.
That's the way the refs did it in those days.
Hey, Reggie, talk to us a little bit about the Lakers and the young guys and Kobe retiring. This is a team in transition. Byron Scott's trying to bridge that transition. Does he get another year, and what happens with the Lakers this year?
Well, I certainly hope they give him time because you know how it is, Larry, in the NBA. You know, as a coach, a former NBA coach, you look at a team and you go, you know, we're doing a good job, but we're not going to be around long enough to coach this team when it gets to be good. And that's kind of the way it is sometimes. But I really hope that they give him a chance to build this franchise the way it needs to be built. Because the Lakers, you and I know, we don't believe that the Lakers are going to be down for long. I know it's going to take a little while because the money's not right and different things have to happen. But you have to be, if you're a real fan and you've been a long Laker fan for a long time, you know that this franchise is ultimately going to get it right because they want to win. And I think Byron has done a good job. I wouldn't say a great job because you can't. But for what he has to work with, the things that I know about him as a coach, he's done as good a job with those guys under the circumstances as you can do.
See, I know what you're saying, but I'm not sure it's the same organization trying to get things accomplished now that it was when Jerry Buss was there. So I'm not as optimistic, but I think they're headed in the right direction. Before we let you go, Reg, I want to talk about USC because you played against USC this year, and they're playing against Providence in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Do they belong there, and how good can they be?
You know, I'm going to be doing, I'm working with Jim Hill tonight doing some college stuff, and that's one of the games we're going to be talking about on Sports Central. And, you know, it's a tough deal because I think USC has a lot of tools. But when you start to mix a USC and an East Coast Providence, they have to play a physical game. If I remember correctly, I think the region is back more toward the east, so it's going to be a very different game than USC's plays most of the course of the year.
Yeah.
I think they have to shoot the ball well from the perimeter, and if they don't play lockdown defense, at least for a short period of time, they cannot win this game.
Talking with Reggie Theus, the head coach at Cal State Northridge. Ted, final question for Reg?
No, I'm good. Just want to say all the best with Northridge because they're in my backyard and always rooting for the guys from the Valley.
Well, we're going to have a full team next year, so I need you to come out and support us.
Reggie, I really appreciate you coming on the show. We'll have to do this again when we get maybe around the NBA playoffs, okay?
Larry, anytime. You know my number.
You got it, man. That's Reggie Theus, everybody. And coming up a little bit later on Open Season, I got good news, bad news for the Dodgers. Johnny B. Quick for the Kings, looking good. And we're just a left turn away from talking NASCAR with racing legend Darrell Waltrip. So keep that radio locked right there on Open Season.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Have you ever gone to use a flashlight and the batteries were dead or the inside of the flashlight corroded, only having to throw it away? Or in a location where you had no way to charge your cell phone or camera? Well, all that has changed. Now there's Hybrid Light. The Hybrid Light brings the best of both worlds together with a strong 160 lumen LED light that lasts 12 hours on a single charge, and after a recharge from any light or power source, you're ready to go again. Hybrid Light lasts 7 long years and is even waterproof and also contains a USB port to plug in your cell phone or camera to give you that special charge when you're not near an outlet. All this for the low price of $39.95 with promo code GARY. Call 1-800-297-8109 and be the first to have this great tool, or go to our website, hybridlight.com. That's 800-297-8109 or hybridlight.com, hybridlight.com, and don't forget to use promo code GARY.
Welcome back, everybody, to Open Season. Larry Burnett and Ted Sobel with you here on St. Patrick's Day, and very excited. Our next guest joining us right now is Darrell Waltrip. He's a racing legend and stock cars, the NASCAR circuit, the whole thing, and now working for Fox, and they're having some fun on their broadcast this year. Darrell, thanks for taking time to talk with us today. I appreciate it.
Hey, glad to do it, man. Yeah, it's sitting here in the infield at beautiful Auto Club Speedway, looking them out think it's Mount Baldy back there, and pretty nice day out here.
Yeah, the way they say about Southern California is if it wasn't for the weather, it'd be a terrible place to live.
Well, so far so good. We haven't had any. It hasn't been too bad. It's a little windy today, but as long as we don't have any rain, we're happy.
Daryl, our engineer is asking if you could just speak a little louder and directly into your phone so that everybody can hear what you have to say. You talk about so far so good. Man, what a season so far for NASCAR. You start with the Daytona 500 and the closest finish in history, and you go right up to last week in Phoenix, and you got another 1/100th of a second victory, down there in that race. It's been just crazy, hasn't it?
Well, it really has. We've had 4 races. We've had 4 different winners, and 2 of the closest finishes in the history. One at Daytona, and then the one last week at Phoenix. So yeah, we're off to a great start. This looks like it's going to be an incredible season. You got really 4 organizations that win all the races. You got Stewart-Haas, you got Hendrick, you got Penske, and you got Gibbs. And those 4 organizations, believe it or not, they won 35 out of 36 races last year. But those are your best drivers, those are your best cars, and those are the guys that seem to win every week. So they move it around a little bit, but it's those 4 organizations that have the strength.
Talking with Darrell Waltrip, who will be covering the Auto Club 400 for Fox Sports this Sunday out in Fontana. You mentioned where the dominance is right now. Where are the good young drivers? Where are the good young teams? Where are the prospects? Who are they, Darrell?
Oh man, we've actually seen some pretty good results out of these rookies. Chase Elliott driving Jeff Gordon's car from last year, the 24 car, and set on the pole at Daytona, and then he's had a couple of races where he didn't do too good, but he did real nice last week, got him a top 10. You got Austin Dillon driving the 3 car. He's off to a great start. And then you got Ryan Blaney driving the Wood Brothers 21 car. Those 3 kids are really, really putting up some numbers already. They finished the top 10 and been very competitive. And it looks like the young guys are really starting to show up.
Talking with Darrell Waltrip here on Open Season. A lot of people feel that the track in Fontana is one of the faster ones on the circuit. What is it about that track that makes it quick?
Well, it's 2 mile. It's a big speedway. Doesn't have a lot of banking, but it's a big, wide speedway. The aero package we have this year with the smaller rear spoiler and a little less downforce in the cars. It would not surprise me to see the guys break the track record here. These cars are incredibly fast. They have less drag on them. In other words, it's easier for them to go through the wind. And with the horsepower they got, Goodyear's changed the tires up a little bit to accommodate for all that. The tires are a little bit softer, gives you a little more grip in the turns. I don't know. I'd say they'll hit about 215, maybe 218 going into turn 1 down here. We got the Toyota has a radar gun set up down in turn 1, and we'll probably show it a couple of times tomorrow and on Saturday. But you'll see the top speeds of the cars entering the corner, and they're going to be way up there. And then if a guy's brave enough and car good enough, he might be able to run around this joint wide open. If he does, that's going to make some incredible speed.
That is just fantastic. It's been interesting watching NASCAR in recent years, Darrell, because for a while there, it was almost like pro wrestling, where there was a lot of stuff going on off the track, and guys were, fighting with each other and yelling at each other and throwing helmets at each other. Now it seems as though that's kind of quieted down, and it seems like the organizations are letting them do more of their fighting on the track. I mean, we're seeing guys trading paint. We're seeing all kinds of maneuvers out there. What is it like from your viewpoint? What are you seeing about the sport?
Well, you're pretty much right on, except for one thing. We don't see those tempers flare. We don't see drivers going after each other very much in the beginning of the year. Everybody's pretty calm right now. There's, you're trying to win a race, trying to make it into the chase if you can. Yeah. When you see that happen is when we get into the final 10 races, and there's so much on the line, so much at stake. That's when guys seem to really lose their cool. And like last year, we saw Matt Kenseth, a very calm, steady, dependable driver. Never seen him get upset about very much, and he enjoyed. Logano had a real crash fest going on there at the end of last year.
Yep.
You really won't see those kind of things much until we get down into those final 10 races. Then the anxiety kind of ramps up and things escalate from there.
Yeah. Well, so you're saying the door is still open for some dramatics, huh?
Oh yeah. No, don't think that that's a fad. No, it's a trend, and
yeah.
trends have a tendency to come back and repeat themselves every year. So the drivers are okay right now. They're all right with each other. They kind of give and take a little bit, and that'll change as the season wears on. Remember, that's a long season, 36 races. We go from February to November, and by the end of the time we get into October and November, guys' patience run pretty thin.
Yeah, as the stakes go up, the temperatures do as well. You've got a new guy in the booth on Fox Sports, some young driver by the name of Jeff Gordon. I heard he's pretty good. How's it working out in the broadcast booth?
Well, he's a rookie, and so we're just kind of getting to know each other. It's early on. We've done 4 races together. The chemistry gets better every week. He's been in the cars. He's been on the track. I told him the other day, I said, "You're not in the movie anymore. You're looking at the movie. You're watching the movie." And so it's a bit of a different perspective when you go from the car to the booth. I did it 16 years ago, and you still have those anxieties. You still like to be out there most Sundays. And then you just got to translate what you know, what you did, and what the drivers are experiencing. You got to translate that into terms and things that the fan at home can understand. So he's really good. When I kid him about being a rookie, but he's had a little bit of TV experience. He hosted Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
He did Michael and Kelly a couple of times, Regis and Kelly then. So he's got some TV experience, and just getting him to calm down. He gets too excited. They got to get him calmed down a little bit.
I thought it was interesting, and we're talking with Darrell Waltrip, who'll be covering the Auto Club 400 for Fox this weekend. I thought it was interesting. I was reading, there was a big fuss because somebody said, Darrell and Jeff didn't agree on something during the race, and they went back and forth. Maybe they don't like each other. I'm sorry, but I don't think the idea of a telecast is to agree with each other. It's to bring out different things and to have some personality on the air, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, what good's it do if I say, what he said? Or I agree with what he, Jeff's right. Or no, we don't argue. We may disagree. We may have a different perspective. The conversation was about pit road speed limits. It's in the driver's hands, and they get penalties all the time. I think they should have, like every other sport, every other racing sport has. They have a pit road speed limiter, a button you hold in.
Right.
And you can't speed on pit road. And with the technology's there. It's just a matter of activating it. I just feel like it's one less thing the driver has to worry about, one less penalty that they have to enforce. So that was Jeff said, I don't know, I kind of like it the way it is. I said, no, I'd like to see him come up with that pit road speed limiter. And that doesn't mean we don't like each other. People always seem like they want to create controversy or some issue between, when you got to change, whether it's a driver going to a team or a crew chief change or whatever. We have had more fun. Jeff's a lot more fun than I thought he was going to be. We agree on a whole lot more than we disagree on. And then, hey, look, he's right off the racetrack. He just finished competing for the championship last year. So his perspective may be totally different than mine, but the cool thing is we can marry old school where I come from and what I'm accustomed to and what I've seen for 16 years. We can marry that together with his perspective, and it gives a fan an insight that they normally wouldn't get. So it's a perfect scenario, really.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. And keeping with that thought, Darrell, when you were driving and even before that, it seemed like a lot of the decisions made by the pit crew and made in the car were gut instinct kind of things. And now every pit crew has got their computers and everybody's got communication and everybody knows the fuel situation and everything else. You've seen it really change as far as the analytics in the sport, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, technology wasn't there. I didn't even have a cell phone, for heaven's sake. So, and if a guy showed up with a briefcase, we thought he was a weirdo. And now they show up, with their computers and their backpacks, and so things have evolved. And we've taken advantage of the technology that's out there. NASCAR's been kind of hesitant to go all the way, full blown technology that they could be using. They're allowing the drivers more and more freedom, and the teams more and more freedom to use those tools that they have and are at their disposal. But we didn't have that. It was really the driver. The driver decided, give me 4, give me 2.
Right.
Let's just put some gas in the car. What's wrong with the car? I mean, all those things were left up to the driver, and then the crew chief had to just, communicate with the driver about what you think we should do. Most time the driver was he kind of got the last word. And nowadays the driver has very little to do with it. It's all engineering driven. It's all set up with simulation. There's so much information they have that we never had. We did it by the seat of our pants, and now they do it on a note, with a iPad. So
yeah,
it's just totally different.
In keeping with the technology theme, man, I have to tell you, I think auto racing probably uses technology best in television coverage. I can't believe we're able to listen in to the drivers. I can't believe there's in-car cameras and behind-car cameras. You've seen that change a lot, too, and I think it's brought a lot of people to the sport because it's really opened up auto racing on TV.
Well, I hate it when fans complain about what we do, because in this sport, it's more open to the fan than any other sport that you can think of. I mean, we've had baseball players, football players, any other ball sport. They come and they say, "My God, I can't believe you can talk to a driver during a race. I can't believe y'all can listen into their conversations. I can't believe somebody's sticking a microphone in their face as soon as they get out of the car." We would have never allowed that in our sport.
Yeah.
So what we bring to the table, what television brings, what the sport allows us to do, and the drivers, for the most part, are very cooperative. They're congenial. They want to be on TV. They want to be interviewed. And here's the key: we're not a self-sustaining sport. We're not. We are. Everybody here is an independent contractor.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here if we didn't have sponsors. We wouldn't be here if people didn't come to watch this race. And so we all are well aware of that, and we go out of our way to take care of our sponsors, take care of our fans, and project an image that our sponsors and fans can be proud of. And so everything we do it because it's the way we were taught. It's the way we were brought up in this business.
Well, I have to tell you, you're absolutely right. The transparency in the sport has really opened up the sport to television, and I think it gives the viewer an inside and behind the scenes kind of a look that you don't get from any other sport, and I think it's a lot of fun to watch. Darrell, I really appreciate you coming on with us. Have fun this weekend at the Auto Club 400. Maybe we'll get to do this down the line as well. Oh, no, I'd love to talk more, but thanks for having me on. Enjoyed it very much, and come on out here and watch this race Sunday. It'll be another one of those close finishes, I promise. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the time. All right, guys. That's Darrell Waltrip, and if you're looking for tickets, 800-944-RACE, 800-944-RACE, the Auto Club 400 out at Fontana this Sunday, and it should be a lot of fun. And thanks to Darrell. By the way, before we get to the break, one golf note. Arnie Palmer is going to be at the first tee when the Masters opens next month at Augusta, but for the first time in a long time, he will not be a part of the ceremonial tee shot. Arnie's 86 years old. He's got a bum shoulder, so Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player are going to have to tee it up without him. Just ahead on Open Season, Puig and the Dodgers, the Angels having wing problems, and a whole lot more. We'll bring Ted Sobel back into the show as well when we continue here on Open Season. Stick around.
Ever wonder how celebrities get their skin red carpet ready? Look no further than the Fire and Ice Facial from Is Clinical, available at Nina MD Beverly Hills. The Fire and Ice Facial is an amazing clinical treatment designed to rapidly and safely regenerate. Ever wonder how celebrities get their skin red carpet ready? Look no further than the Fire and Ice Facial from Is Clinical, available at Nina MD Beverly Hills. The Fire and Ice Facial is an amazing clinical treatment designed to rapidly and safely regenerate the skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles for an envious glow, while smoothing and softening to achieve that ageless face. Excellent for all skin types and ages, Is Clinical's Fire and Ice Facial is a celebrity favorite and provides dramatic results with no downtime, peeling, or side effects. The Fire and Ice Facial is normally $215, but call 310-777-7511 now. Mention this ad and pay only $179. That's over $35 in savings just by mentioning this ad. Don't miss out on glowing and radiant skin from Is Clinical and Nina MD Beverly Hills. For more info, visit ninamd.com or call 310-777-7511. That's 310-777-7511. Ever wonder how celebrities get their skin red carpet ready? Look no further than the Fire and Ice Facial from Is Clinical, available at Nina MD Beverly Hills. The Fire and Ice Facial is an amazing clinical treatment designed to rapidly and safely regenerate the skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles for an envious glow, while smoothing and softening to achieve that ageless face. Excellent for all skin types and ages, Is Clinical's Fire and Ice Facial is a celebrity favorite and provides dramatic results with no downtime, peeling, or side effects. The Fire and Ice Facial is normally $215, but call 310-777-7511 now. Mention this ad and pay only $179. That's over $35 in savings just by mentioning this ad. Don't miss out on glowing and radiant skin from Is Clinical and Nina MD Beverly Hills. For more info, visit ninamd.com or call 310-777-7511. That's 310-777-7511.
If you're trying to prevent home foreclosure, you need a law firm with extensive experience representing clients in protecting their homes from foreclosure. The Goodman Law Firm is a nationwide team of mortgage mitigation attorneys that provides legal advice and expertise you can trust. Our nationwide network includes local of-counsel foreclosure attorneys to represent you during the mortgage mitigation process. The Goodman firm has represented homeowners across the nation in resolving their troubled mortgages. We have the experience and the knowledge you can count on to best represent your interests. The banks have attorneys fighting to protect their interests, and so should you. Call the Goodman Law Firm at 888-800-6030. Take control of your mortgage situation today. Contact us at 888-800-6030 or through our website at arnoldgoodmanlaw.com.
Yes, a bit of the Irish music and a bit of a happy St. Paddy's Day to all of you. And congratulations to LA Kings goalie Jonathan Quick. He had that shutout win over Chicago on Monday night, and that was the 41st of his career. And that set a new record for regular season shutouts by an American-born goaltender. So congratulations to him. The Kings, by the way, leading Anaheim by 4 points atop the Pacific. The Kings host the Rangers tonight. The Ducks lost to the Rangers last night. Let's bring Ted Sobel back in here and talk a little bit hockey and these Ducks and Kings. They got a good battle going in the Pacific, Teddy.
Yeah, no question about it. I had actually picked the Ducks to win the West this year, and they started out so poorly. I thought, wow. I guess I'd forgotten everything I used to know about the game, but they turned it around, and they've been the last 2 months been just great, and they're one of the best teams in the league right now. So the Ducks are going to be, and I've always said it's how you're built for the playoffs. The Ducks and Kings are built very well for the playoffs. So I'm just hoping somehow they can end up playing each other. It doesn't look very likely right now, but boy, that would be an incredible series. By the way, one more thing about Arnold Palmer. I was at the Masters last year when Arnie teed off. And I think it's time he shouldn't tee off. And he almost killed somebody.
Yeah,
they show that on television. By the way,
it's sad, but he knows it's time, and it's just sad.
Physically, he's got some issues right now where he literally can't swing the club the way he wants to. So maybe he should just forget about it. But he said the last couple of days, if he can get back on the treadmill and get into some kind of shape, maybe he can go back to swinging the club again. But you know what? It's not important. The fact that he's there is important.
Absolutely. It's a great tradition and great for the sport. There's no question about that. Let's talk some baseball here, Ted. Dodgers got some good news yesterday. Yasiel Puig is not going to be disciplined or charged for the incident at the Miami bar back around Thanksgiving where he allegedly hit his sister. Then he comes out and hits a home run. But on the other side of things, we're looking at Ryu now. He had the shoulder surgery. They were hoping to get him to throw in the Cactus League. Now they're saying no, and maybe not ready to go until after May. What's going on with that pitching rotation for the Dodgers?
Yeah, it's not looking good. And Ryu, he was a question mark going in anyway. I was there opening day of spring last year, and I asked Don Mattingly when he realistically expected Ryu to be back. And at the time, they were always saying, oh, it's just a little early spring soreness. And he said, we're just going to play it day by day. And it's now year by year with Ryu, as far as I'm concerned. Now, this is a guy that if he's not feeling better by now after shoulder surgery, then there has to be some concern. And he should have been the number 3 guy in the rotation. Now it's just a bunch of maybes out there. And if Scott Kazmir has to be the man to come through with at least 15 wins this season, even though he had a great comeback year last year, I don't trust him.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he hasn't looked good in the spring, and you got Brett Anderson, who's out with the back. We talk about the no-name defense with the Dolphins many years ago. This is like the no-name pitching staff once you get past Kershaw, and then you got to look down at Arizona and see Greinke down there. That does not bode well if your pitchers are not ready to go, heading in toward the season.
Well, it's the new look management team that's basically saying we're going with numbers that say we can do something for the long haul. We're going to get a lot of innings out of these guys, which is very important these days, but you want quality innings. Again, trust is a question in my mind and in my gut. I'm not so sure this team has enough to win the West. But on the field, position-wise, I think they're okay.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And it was almost like the front office is saying, bring us your tired, you're poor, and we'll pay them millions of dollars and hope they can pitch.
Yeah, less of millions, though, as opposed to Greinke, who wanted many more millions.
Yeah,
now, Greinke,
but
he
look
did say
what
all along, I'm going to the team that's paying me the most. That's why he was a Dodger in the first place. Let's never forget that.
I'll tell you what, if they're putting money out in front of me, that's going to be a big priority as far as I'm concerned. And you take the money that they didn't spend on him and see the way it was spent and what they've got right now, I think I'd much rather have an ace and a number 2 in Kershaw and Greinke and then have my question marks. Right now, you got a question mark right after Kershaw. Let's talk about the Angels a little bit, too. C.J. Wilson, he's still recovering. He says he's in no hurry to get back, so they don't know what they're going to get from him. And Jared Weaver is now throwing the ball so slow, barely getting up in the upper 80s. He said the other day, I wish they'd tell me I need surgery. It'd be something we can fix. Apparently they can't fix it. I think their rotation, other than Richards, is in flux, too.
Oh, this team does not look good overall to me at all. And there's no doubt that Jared Weaver has been on the downhill slide of his career for the last 2 seasons. Nobody was surprised when they saw last year towards the end of the season when he's been on and off the DL and he can't throw 90 miles an hour anymore. Well, it's not that important to throw 90, but it's where you put it. And if he doesn't have great stuff to be able to maneuver the inside and outside parts of the plate, then you're in big trouble, and he is in big trouble. He is half the pitcher he was before. Unless he learns all over again how to throw, literally, he's done. He's done, and I don't trust C.J. Wilson at all because he's only a guy who throws in parts of the plate as well, and if he's having physical problems. So this team's got some major issues.
Yeah, they really do. Story earlier this week about Adam LaRoche with the White Sox. All of a sudden, he decides to retire. It turns out that Kenny Williams, the general manager for the White Sox, told him that he couldn't bring his son to the ballpark and the locker room. Apparently, he was bringing him every day for the last several years, and he wanted him to cut it down. And LaRoche said, "You know what? I don't need your $13 million. I'm gonna retire." I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but I'm not sure there's many places where you can take your kid to work every day and get away with it.
You said it, Larry. This is strictly business, and that's what it is. It's not a game. You're not going to the park. It's not a pickup league. It's a profession, and you got to go by those rules. I think they were pretty lenient with him for a long time to allow his kid to be there. It's nice to do it occasionally, but if you expect that and you're giving up $13 million, you better work on your priorities there, buddy.
Yeah, listen, I love the family thing. I love the family aspect of baseball, no question about it. But if everybody
and the
decides...
LaRoche family too, by the way, I've dealt with all of them, including Dave, his dad, who used to pitch for the Angels. I've always had really good dealings with him, but this decision is strange to me.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Before we head out, Ted's a big tennis fan. He's covered, been to Wimbledon several times, and we got tennis going on down at Indian Wells. You've been keeping track of that?
Yeah, I have, and I've been watching. Last night, Rafael Nadal should have lost to a kid from Germany, and he lucked out, and the kid basically froze when he was up, I think it was 5-2 in the deciding set, and he blew it. This is a tournament now where they've been without Roger Federer because he's rehabbing from an injury, and they still have some firepower, and Serena Williams is doing her thing on the women's side. But it's a fun tournament, and to me, it's like a fifth major. If you've ever been out to Indian Wells, it's run almost as well as most of the majors. It's run better than the French Open, from what I understand.
Wow, amazing. And finally, Ted, and I think you'll like this story. During the offseason, the Miami Marlins hired Barry Bonds to be their hitting instructor. And so yesterday, he and a bunch of the guys go out to one of these back fields and batting practice spots, and they have a home run derby. And darned if Barry Bonds doesn't beat everybody on the team in the home run derby. He's 51 years old, and we're including Giancarlo Stanton, the big hitters that they've got on that team. 51 years old, Barry Bonds is still beating them in home run swings.
I'll throw out the PED story and that part of Barry Bonds. And as much as I don't like him as a person and the way he's dealt with us throughout the last several decades, he is one of the greatest hitters of all time. And I guess he's a perfect guy. If he has the demeanor to be able to teach, boy, I want him teaching me because he's amazing.
Ted, it's been fun. Well, let's do it again. And folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week, Thursday, 3:05. More open season. See you then.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? What good is what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laugh? Are you getting any love?
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio. Tribune Publishing, the owner of the Chicago Tribune, the Los Angeles Times, and other big newspapers, was the highest bidder at an auction for California's Orange County Register and another local paper offering $56 million in cash. But the Justice Department filed a civil antitrust suit against the takeover, saying it gives one media company a monopoly in Southern California. On Wall Street, investors in control today, sending the Dow shooting up 155 points and into positive territory for the year. The Nasdaq was up 11, and oil topped $40 a barrel for the first time since early December. TransCanada, that's the company behind that controversial Keystone XL pipeline, is buying U.S.-based rival Columbia Pipeline and paying $10 billion for it. And Kohl's revealing which of the 18 underperforming stores it plans to shut down by June in a cost-cutting move. Half of them are in California. 3 are in Georgia. Tom Busby, CNBC.
Hi, Auntie Christine. Thanks for the Easter basket you sent me. It has all my favorite candies and a stuffed bunny rabbit. The basket even has my name on it. It's the best Easter basket ever. I miss you.
Surprise the little ones in your life with personalized Easter baskets from Personal Creations. Each wicker basket comes with a fabric liner and the design you choose. Then it's filled to the brim with free candy, a chocolate bunny, jelly beans, Peeps, and a free stuffed bunny, all for just $19.99. Plus, you can have a name embroidered on it for free.
Thanks, Grandma. This Easter basket is awesome. Yum!
Each basket is filled with Easter favorites and professionally embroidered, all for just $19.99. And your personalized basket is guaranteed to arrive before Easter, so there's still time to order. The only way to get this special Easter deal is to go to personalcreations.com. Click the orange star in the upper right corner and enter secret code 200. That's personalcreations.com. Click the star and enter secret code 200. Personalcreations.com, 200.
KCAA. Avast, you scurvy dogs!
Stand fast and prepare for boarding!
It's time once again for the High Desert Pirate Renaissance Fair. It's excitement for all ages. Pirates, mermaids, cannon battles, sword fighting, stage shows, turkey legs, vendors, historical demonstrations, and of course, beer, wine, and rum.
Yarr!
Tickets are just $10 for general admission with discounts available online or at the box office. Children 6 and under are free. Saturday and Sunday, March 19th and 20th at the fairgrounds in downtown Victorville. Buy tickets online at hdpiratefair.com.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. I'm Di Rice with the latest in live, local, and national news here on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. Michigan Governor Rick Snyder says the water crisis in Flint is a failure of government at all levels. Snyder found himself in the hot seat today at a U.S. House hearing. The Republican governor is facing growing calls to resign over the crisis involving toxic levels of lead in the Flint water supply. And here at home, those San Bernardino firefighters and paramedics were staged less than 200 feet away from where 12-year-old Jason Spears was shot in the chest on Sunday. They had to wait 8 minutes before tending to him. Fire department policy mandates that in potentially violent situations such as shootings, firefighters and paramedics are to wait for police to determine if the scene is safe before they enter. Lieutenant Rich Lawhead says San Bernardino police strive to respond to priority 1 calls in less than 5 minutes. Neither fire nor police officials could say whether a faster response could have saved Jason's life, but officials from both agencies do agree that long response times are a growing concern here in San Bernardino. Inland Empire weather, it is sunny and a little bit breezy out there. Highs 84, overnight lows 56. Tomorrow, a little less warm with highs near 80. And your weekend also looking very nice with highs into the low 80s. Under mostly sunny skies, breezy conditions Saturday, mostly sunny, few clouds out there on Sunday. Right now, it is 83 degrees here in San Bernardino. And checking out your drive, the carpool lane is blocked 210 eastbound right past Ayala Drive. And also in Chino, there's stop-and-go traffic 60 eastbound between Ramona and Central. And the 10 east through Chino is slow from the 57 to Town Avenue. And then once again from Euclid to Cherry, 210 east slow from Mountain to Day Creek Boulevard. And through Temecula, that accident has cleared at the southbound 15 Winchester Road. That's been cleared from the lane. Still traffic is backed up from the 215. That is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic. This traffic report has been brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Rush hour commute running you ragged? Grab a 5-Hour Energy Shot and stay feeling alert. Now is the time for a 5-Hour Energy Shot. Now, on to Thom Hartmann on the station that leaves no listener behind. Well, in just mere seconds here on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Hello, everyone. This is Nina MD, Fusion of Science and Beauty. Listen to my show every Wednesday night, 6 p.m., KCAA 1050, where I'm going to give you the latest, greatest on anti-aging.
Thursday nights at 8, tune into Cali's best radio show with Lady and Press on 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And greetings, my friends, patriots, lovers of democracy, truth, and justice, believers in peace, freedom, and the American way. Thom Hartmann here with you, and pleased to be with you. Democracy Spring is on its way. You probably haven't heard about this in the corporate media, but there is a large movement, the Democracy Spring movement. They're going to be meeting. Larry Lessig and Zephyr Teachout are probably the most visible leaders of